Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we're doing the Nedarim Daf Samach Tet, number 69. Great share for you today. Also a pretty short share for you today. Some interesting questions about Hafara, blocking a neder, and Hakama, about affirming or confirming a neder, according to the Art Scroll. Let's start in the middle. We left off the middle of Samach Tet and Aleph. 5 lines down. Boy Rava. Rava asked the following question. A person confirms another, right? He affirms another, or he confirms another. He says, I want another. Now, it could be we're talking about a case of shutfas, like we've been talking about until now, where you're talking about an arusa, a woman who's betrothed, she's engaged, where you need the father and the husband in order to be mayfair, the neder, in order to block the neder. But it's really a general question. It's about any time. For example, a daughter in her father's house, when the father is the sole one responsible for her nedarim, or the one who's married, the husband is sole responsible. And I think it's definitely talking about those latter two cases, not the case of shutfas. I'll explain to you why in Ian with Ben Sion. Ian Ben Sion will revolve around this question. The Gemara. So the Gemara says, if you're making a neder, the father making the neder to his daughter, could he regret that within 24 hours and be shoel on that and matir that hakama and then go ahead and revoke the nether or annul the nether? Amrle imtim telomar, and if he'll say yesh sheila behekem, that you could do it with a hekem, yesh sheila behefer, yesh sheila behefer, could you do this without far? When you block a nether, could you say you regret or say that I didn't know that I was being made for the nether under such and such circumstances? If I would have known, I would never have been made for the neder. Tashma, the Gemara tries to bring an answer to the question. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Nishalan al Hekem, Ein Nishalan al Hahefer. This is the conclusion of this Shayla, of this question. The Gemara Rabbi Yochanan says, on the Hekem, if you confirm a neder, that you could annul. However, when it comes to blocking a neder, Hafaras HaNeder, once you do that, you can't take it back. You can't revoke that. Boy Rabbah. We'll discuss this question more in depth. You know, Ben Sion. By Rabbah, Kiyem Lichi. He says it twice. I'm a Kayimit. He's very upset with his wife. I'm a Kayimit twice. Initial Akama Rishona. Then he regrets it and he tries to revoke the first Akama Mahu. Right? Do we assume the second Akama? Right? You can't have Akama on Akama. I can't. Right? Once I'm making another, I can't even make him in a second time. So do we say that it still exists, like we talked about this earlier in the Masechta, about if you yesh neder b'zoch neder, the Mishnah on Daf It Nedarim over there, where we talk about, the Gemara says that if you take a neder and then take another neder, right, and then you're show on one of the nedarim, or by Naziros, or nation Naziros, Silk Naziros, does it work or not? So similar by Hakama also. Ma'u Tashma Amarava Nishal Rishona Shniya Chalalav. I believe this directly is a quote from the Gemara earlier on. Rav was saying this in regards to a neder and nazira. Same thing by hakama. The second hakama, even though when you said it, it was meaningless, but it still existed, and therefore it existed for the fact that if you were shoal, right, if you revoke the first hakama, the second hakama will be in place, and you have to revoke that one also. Boy Rabba, Kiyim lichi umufer lichi v'lotichal hakama elim ken chala hafar. This is one long statement. I'm a kayim the neder, and I'm made for the neder. And he adds that the hakama shouldn't exist unless the hafara exists. Now, it's impossible to at the same time be makayim neder and be made for the neder. Do any of them take effect? Do one of them take effect? Mahu, what's the halacha? Tashma, top of Samachem and Beis. The pluksa the Rabbi Rabbi Yossi. The Gemara wants to answer this question from a machlokas in Maseches Tmura between Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi. This not Areza Tmura Zola Tmura Shlamim. Areza Tmura Zola Divrei Rabbi. He has an animal in front of him. He has two karbanos that he has. He has a karban ola, karban shlamim, and then he has a third animal. And he wants to exchange. You're not allowed to do this according to the Torah, but it works with the it's to exchange one animal in place of another animal, to transfer the kedusha of the ola or the shlamim to this animal. So he says about this third animal, he has a double lashon. According to Rabbi Meir says false lashon rishon after the first language. He said the first language tmuras ola, so therefore it can't both be an ola and a shlamim a karban. All Lashon are two different karbanos, so therefore we assume it's Tmuras Ola, like the first Lashon. If he asked the guy and he said really wanted to make it both Tmuras Ola and Tmuras Shlamim, this third animal, Can't be both an Ola and a Shlamim. So therefore, it does have Kedusha. It can't be an Ola or a Shlamim, but it has Kedusha. It is a Tamura for both of them. And what you have to do is you have to wait until it gets a mum, then you have to sell it, and then you split up the money to purchase a cheaper Ola and a cheaper Shlamim. I feel like Meir, and even Rabbi Meir, look, Amar Delo Amar Lotechal Zu Elam Kain Chala Zu. Aval Hakad Amar Lotechal Kama Zu Elam Kain Chala Afara. Rabbi Meir Nami Moded Afara Chala. That's my machlokes over there. So back to the case over here. Here he says, I'm going to make him the nether, and I'm going to make for the nether. If we just said, I'm going to make him the nether, I'm going to the nether, and then I'm going to make for the nether. So according to Rabbi Meir, right, we take Tfos Lashon Rishon. You go to the first language. The second language is irrelevant. When the two languages are competing against each other, right? And Ol and Shlamim are two different karbanos. Hakama and Afar are two different things. So we take Tfos Lashon Rishon according to Rabbi Meir. The Hakama is the language that we would hold on to and we would deem relevant. The Afar is thrown away. According to Rabbi Yossi, right? You have to throw both statements away because they don't make any sense. But once he says, he adds on, he says, Kim lichi, mufer lichi, v'lo tichal hakama elkein chala hafara. So even Rabbi Meir's mode, by adding this last language, this last segment to his statement, he's basically saying, like Rabbi Yossi in this case, that both of them are competing languages over here. And therefore, it would be like Rabbi Yossi. Now, Rabbi Yossi says, when you say Tamur Zol, Tamur Shlamim, the hekdesh that you've made is a mixture of Ola and Shlamim. Therefore, you have to sell it. You can't have a carbon, a mixture of Ola and Shlamim. So here also, you have Akama and Afara that are competing with each other, and they both don't make sense together. One is Mekayim the nether, one is strengthening the nether, and one is removing the nether. So which one do you take effect over here? So there's different ways of probably learning this Gemara. I'm going to give you the way the art school learns the Gemara. The art school learns the Gemara, probably based on certain Rishonim, that when you say Kiyam Lichi Mufer Lichi, and you add in and you say, I only want the Akama to be Chalif as Hafara, so therefore we go with the Hafara. We assume the nether is Mufar over here in this case, because even though normally according to Rabbi Yossi, right, and here Rabbi Meir supposedly agrees with Rabbi Yossi that both of them are Chal, because he meant both of them, here it's impossible for both of them to be Chal. By Ola and Shlamim, you could say it has both Ola and Shlamim, but there's no such carbon as a mixture of Ola and Shlamim, so sell the carbon. You have a way out to divide the money between Ola and Shlamim, sell it and divide the money. Here there's no way out. So really, I would think personally, the Gemara is saying that neither one is Chal. Now, you see, you're pitting a Hakam against a Hafara. Try to both of them at the same time, it doesn't work. The article says no, that the Gemara is answering both according to Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi. It would be a Hafara in this case, because Hafara is stronger. Hafara completely removes the nether, as opposed to Hakama, it just strengthens the nether. So therefore, the Hafara is stronger than the Hakama, and therefore the Hafara is Chal and Hakama is not Chal. Based on my Iyun Ben Sion, I will present to you why I don't agree with this, and I think that Hafara and Hakama are equally strong, and therefore neither one should be Chal, according to my explanation. Rabbi Meir now moded the Hafara Chal. Now the Gemara seems to say, right, Rabbi Meir also Hafara Chal. It seems trying the Gemara, the Hafara and not the Hakama, but you could read the Gemara that the Hafara is also Chala, right? Rabbi Meir normally says you go with the first line, which is Kiyam Lichi. So, and the Gemara's answer, even Rabbi Meir in this case, where he says that he adds in some extra words at the end, the Hafara Chala. The Hafara is also Chala, right? That's the way I would read the Gemara, and therefore neither is Chala. Boi Rabba, Kiyam Mufer Lichi B'Bas Achas Mahu. He says, I am Mekayim and made for the nether b'basaka simultaneously, right? He didn't say like before where he said Kiyam Lichi Mufer Lichi, or one language preceded the other. Here he's saying both of them should be Chal, should take effect simultaneously. Tashma, Dama Rabba says in Mizachas Kedushin, Kol Davar She'enu B'Zechar Zeh Afilu B'Basachas Eno. Here the Gemara is talking about Kedushin. If you want to Mekadesh two sisters, right? If I'm Mekadesh one woman, and then I'm Mekadesh her sister afterwards, so the second Kedushin is not Chal, because your wife's sister is an Erva. She's an Erva. She's Kares, not Chayav Mises Basin, but you're Chayav Kares for marrying your wife's sister, even though now Yaakov was able to marry Rachel and Leah. So, even if I were to say I'm being Mekadesh Rachel and Leah, two sisters together, right? So Rabbah says this is Allah we follow. If, right, even though I'm saying I'm Mekadesh two sisters simultaneously, so you can't say, right, when I'm Mekadesh the second sister, it's exactly the same time Mekadesh the first sister. I'm not Mekadesh someone who's an Erva, right? I'm Mekadesh someone who's an Erva. If you're Mekadesh someone an Erva, right, we hold the Kiddushin is not Tosin, Mechayve Krisos, right? So therefore it shouldn't be Chal. But here I'm doing a simultaneously. So Rabbah says, no, if it's Ein B'Zechar Zeh, if it can't be done, Zechar Zeh, Kiddushin is not Tosin, Mechayve Krisos, so therefore even if you try to do it simultaneously, it doesn't work. And presumably you're not Mekudesh to anyone. Here also, when you say Kim Lichi Mufer Lichi, right, you can't have Zechar Zeh. Once I'm a kind of Neder, I can't be made for the Neder. I have to be Shoal on my Kama and then be made for the Neder. So therefore, it's Eino B'Zechar Zeh, Hafilu B'Asachas Eino, and basically you've done nothing by saying Kim Lichi Mufer Lichi B'Asachas, you have done nothing according to Rabbah, which is accepted halacha. That's the conclusion of today's shiur. The next question, the Gemara goes into the middle of Daf Ayin Amud Aleph. Tomorrow, I believe, is a fast day, so I don't know when I'm going to give the shiur tomorrow, but we'll see. It's hard for me to give a shiur on a fast day because, I'll tell you, this is a big help for my shiurim. If I wasn't able to drink a coffee, a lot of the fasts I can't give a shiur because I can't learn the Gemara without a coffee. It's a sad thing, I was once, I got a ride from somebody. He was a guy that used to work full time, and now he started, working in the afternoon, learning in the morning. He was about tshuva, I think, and he said, "You know what? It's so great. Learning is so much more enjoyable than working." He says, when you're learning, you sit down, you open the Gemara, you take a coffee. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I asked him, is it because of the coffee, or I was just thinking, I also feel like that. Are you learning for the coffee, or are you drinking the coffee for the learning? Most people say you're drinking the coffee to help you learn, but some people, like me, you learn for the coffee. Makes the coffee more enjoyable when you're learning. But it's also true that without the coffee, you can't learn. It's true, and it's hard for me on fast days when I don't have the coffee. So I'll give the shiur tomorrow. I don't have to be in the morning and the afternoon. Stay tuned for Iyad Ben Sion, where I really delve into what Hafara exactly is. I've mentioned in a previous show and what I believe Hafara really is. How is it different than Hataras Nedarim? And I will give a unique explanation to most of this stuff. Two questions of, I think there's 4 questions in this Gemara. 2 of the 4 questions I will give a unique explanation against the art scroll, as I'm wont to do recently. Stay tuned. Iyad Ben Sion coming up next.